Good afternoon. Hope you all are having a good Monday so far. Enjoying this slightly warmer weather after this frigid weekend we had. Welcome to our third session as part of our advising track. Today we're going to hear from Mary Parker, and she is going to give you an overview of some relatively new career software and give you some information on how you can help your students in your advising sessions with them when they are interested in career exploration. Mary, you can go ahead.
First of all, let me say I'm so happy and honored to have the opportunity to be with all of you on this afternoon. I am Mary Parker, and I'm the Career Center Coordinator here at Central Carolina Community College. And I provide career counseling and professional development services across our tri-county areas, being, of course, here in Lee County on the Sanford campus, of course, Harnett being in Lillington, and last but certainly not least, Chatham County being in Pittsboro. I'm excited by the opportunity and want you all to encourage your students to engage in experiencing the Career Center and the services it has to offer and preparing them for their professional futures as they have defined their level of success to be. So again, thank you all for being with me on this afternoon and for allowing me the opportunity to introduce you to some of the services that the Career Center offers to help engage your students in their professional development. So I will start by showing you our new and updated and improved Career Services Center actual web page. So I'm going to cut off my camera, share my screen with you, and allow you to see that exciting new page that we're so gratified to have the opportunity to have. So if you'll go to our college's homepage, which looks like so, click on the word Services and Offices, scroll down to the letter C for the Career Center, and here you'll see our new modified and streamlined website that we're hoping is capable of being a lot easier to navigate and access resources. So if you look at that, speaking of resources, first thing you'll see is College Central Network, which is the new software that I want to introduce to you to share with your students as they prepare again for their professional futures, employability skill building, and also to search for those jobs that match what their interests are. So before I go there, explore academic programs. There's other resources that are on the page. Learn more about yourself. For some of us, it may take us a little time to discover maybe where we fit in that vast world of work that exists out there today and how maybe we fit into it. And so it requires us to do a little self-reflection. And there are several tools that we have listed on the Career Center's website and to learn more about yourself that can assist with that activity. Explore careers. For some of us, we already kind of know where we fit and who we are. Now we just want to look at what opportunities are available. And under that Explore Careers tab, you'll see some other resources there that can help with determining maybe which occupation we want to start our professional future within. Not necessarily where we're going to end, because we may have 4 or 5 different occupations prior to the time we retire. But for some, the importance of just getting started and understanding maybe where to start is half the battle. So with that, I want you to encourage your students, if they already kind of know who they are and maybe where they fit and that they fit maybe into the world of work, then let's find out where and under what industry would be suitable for you based upon maybe your aspirations, your dreams, your goals, what type of lifestyle maybe you want for yourself. All of these assessment tools can help provide that information. Finding a job, a little different than the way we did it in the past. It especially during this pandemic. It's a little harder maybe to get face to face from some across the conference room table from someone. And it may take a little bit of effort of using that virtual world to connect to individuals and places. So these are a few under Find Jobs in which they are preferably online job boards that students can definitely go to and see what's going on, not only in their community, but also in the state, in the U.S. states, and maybe even internationally, if internationally is where they want to actually perform within their respective career goals and aspirations. Resume and cover letter writing information is here as well, along with that interview prep. Let's see how we're going to sit across maybe the conference room table, but I would say most relevantly, especially with today's time, look on the screen at one another as we articulate and communicate and convey who we are professionally. So all of these tabs, I want you to take some time and kind of see what's behind each one of those tabs and how it may fit into the professional development of your students and assisting them with very current peer-reviewed information and data that they can intake to advance in who they are professionally. So now we're going to go on an adventure and go into what is now College Central Network, which is our new online job board and career services management software system. Very excited and happy to have this tool inside the Career Center now. I call this tool my virtual assistant because really this software can do a lot to assist me here in the Career Center as I interact and communicate with the students, with alumni, with prospective students, with job seekers in our community, with our employers. It kind of helps link me to a platform that I can communicate and interact with those individuals in one centralized location. So for the sake of time and for today, I want to go from a student perspective as to how to utilize the tool. But as I just mentioned, not only is this tool for students, but it's also for alumni, for our community job seekers, for faculty, for staff, for administration, but most importantly for our employers to post those jobs that share in sharing the opportunities that they have available to meet and satisfy the goals of our students as they look to find that rewarding and fulfilling place of employment. But let's take a look at College Central Network and really see what it looks like. So I've already signed in. I think I'm going to go to this site and save us some time. When you go to the home page for College Central Network, and when I say you, meaning your students, the first thing they will do is they will see a welcome, of course, to the software. They will also see a gray button that says they can create an account, but I want them at first to ignore that gray button and go directly to the blue lettering underneath that says activate your pre-registered account. Because what I've done each semester, I get a report from institutional effectiveness of all the students who are enrolled here at Central Carolina Community College. And I upload all of those students' ID numbers and names into College Central Network. So all they have to do is just activate their pre-registrations so they don't have to go through the steps of creating a new account. But if there is one or two who may say, well, I can't get into the system, I'm not showing that I have an active username, I want you to ask them to please feel free to create that account, because it may be, depending on when they registered, that they're not appearing on my list. So I didn't get the opportunity to capture them. But that should be very far and in between. That shouldn't happen very often. But if it does, then I want you to instruct, if you would please, or recommend to that student to try creating a new account. And if that doesn't work, then I want you to have them contact me and let me see what I can do to go ahead and resolve the issue, which I promise I will do so. So now that we're signed on and we're registered and we're inside, this is what the students are going to see. They're going to see their dashboard. And this basically has all of the elements as to what functions students have available to them to utilize to build their employability skills. So the first thing we'll see is search my job. So I'm going to try to go through these rather quickly so that you can get an example of what each tab represents and what it offers as far as a resource to students. My school's jobs. Some of our employers just want to provide maybe their specific employment opportunities just to CC students. And they're out there, I'll say mostly, those in maybe Sanford and or Lillington or Pittsburgh only want to share their opportunities with students who are on the Chatham, of course, the Harnett and or the Sanford campuses. So they can, if they want to, just post those jobs only for our students to see. And for example, let's look at, here's one in Garner. There was a company by the name of CRTS, which is a utility trailer sales service that wants to share just their jobs with our students here at CCCCC. Here's a position for a database specialist with the state of North Carolina and Raleigh. They wanted to make sure that our students were made aware of this position and was able to see it through their website, and so on and so on. So there are quite a few positions. If you want to just have your students look at those locally and maybe state jobs that just employers want them to view for consideration, you can do so with My School's Jobs. Job Central, a little bit more open with its thousands of jobs that College Central Network, who is the owner or producer of this software, actually goes to various websites that are online and brings all of those jobs back to Job Central and posts them there for our students to see. But let's say the students don't want to travel anywhere, maybe outside of North Carolina, or maybe even outside of the Tri-County Sandhills area. They can narrow down their search. They don't have to look at every job in every state or city. They can narrow it down by just maybe 25 miles within Sanford, North Carolina, date posted. I would prefer they not look at anything that's over maybe 15 days. If we're going into 30 days, I'm pretty confident that most of your employers by that length of time at least should be through the screening application process, maybe in the process of performing interviews, maybe even at a point to where they're getting ready to make a decision. So I'd rather you ask students not to maybe look anything past 15 days, because we want to make sure it's relevant. It's going to be worth their time. So let's just see if there are positions maybe posted within the past 7 days on Job Central by the statistical data retrievers, I'll call them that, at College Central Network, that maybe our students might have an interest in. So if we put in the radius, the city, last 7 days, and begin our search, then we'll see what jobs have been posted there. U.S. Express, here in Sanford, for example, they have a position your home weekly, your daily dedicated routes available. They're looking for CDL drivers, and they're doing up to $12,000 in a first year bonus. That sounds like a great opportunity for them to actually sounds like maintain a very good salary. And when they click on, I notice here to the right, and you'll see as well, they have a representative that's willing to speak with them right away. So it's not like they have to maybe go through the entire application process before they're able to meet, greet, and speak with a hiring professional who's willing and more than probably desiring to have them apply right away. Because as you well know, we all need right now in the world of work, CDL truck drivers is really big and in demand. So they're willing to talk to individuals right away. So I like the way they include that virtual HR representative there to speak with the individual as soon as he or she shows the interest. So enough. Let's go now to Intern Central. Now, for some of you, I'm sure, well, maybe most of you, you already have that internal connection to businesses and industries that maybe you've already contracted with or contracted in the process of creating contracts with for students to do their internships. Because most of the academic programs, as we well know, has some type of internship slash work-based learning component. I do know that there's a new process and procedure in place for work-based learning. I'm not that familiar with it, so I don't want to maybe engage or talk about it too much. But if, in fact, there maybe were students that needed the assistance of maybe finding their own internship and then maybe bringing it back to you as administrators to maybe approve, this is where those students would go to find just internship opportunities. Intern Central, over 25,000 internships across the U.S., along with national. They want to go out of the country, internships. Again, they have the opportunity and option just to narrow it down to a certain scope nearby, maybe where they live. It wouldn't have, well, I won't say it wouldn't be profitable maybe for them to go out of country to perform an internship for you, but right now it may not be as convenient. I would say that may not be as the best time to do that. I'd rather things kind of settle down a little bit more before we maybe travel internationally. So maybe let's keep it a little bit close to home. So the students have the opportunities, if they want to, and options to go out there and look for their own internships and bring it back to you for approval using Intern Central. My resumes, let's go ahead and look at that award-winning resume that will draw the attention of the reader, of that hiring director, that hiring manager, that lead foreman, that head RN nurse, whatever it may be, the veterinarian. Here is where you can have your students upload their resumes if they already have one completed, and hopefully have had it critiqued or reviewed by either you as an administrator, or maybe have them come to the Career Center to have me take a look at it, or they can build one from scratch using College Central Network's Resume Builder. And it has two formats, which are in demand as far as HR is concerned right now in today's time. There's the chronological resume, and then there's the functional. Chronological is for those students who have some maybe relevant experience in the industry in which they're getting ready to go into, versus the functional resume, meaning that the student is maybe transitioning from one career to another, or maybe on the fringes of obtaining their first real job. Maybe some of our high school students who are now transitioning and also a part of our university transfer program want to work at the same time that they are going to college, but they've never really had that opportunity to have what we call that first real job. But that's okay. They still have those transferable skills that they can represent themselves with using a functional style resume. And College Central Network will give them an example of each one of these styles, along with when is the best time to utilize it. And once they upload those resumes, what that does is if they see a position that they have a strong interest in maybe applying for, they can select that particular role, attach or forward their resume in submission as part of the application process for that role. And now, if there is a contact that's listed on that posted position, that student can now contact that individual directly. And in retrospect, that employer contact can contact the student directly. So now we have a platform where students and employers can directly relate to each other or communicate with each other in collaboration with using College Central Network. No longer requires maybe a middleman being the Career Center. It links employer to potential employee. I think that's a very good thing because it creates that seamless transition into the world of work. It makes it a lot easier. My career portfolio. For some of our students, of course, they don't need resumes. For some of them, a career portfolio would be more applicable. Such majors might include our cosmetology students, our culinary students, maybe our automotive systems restoration students. These are, of course, vocations that require more of a hands-on concept of thinking, and it requires us to design and create and invent. So I want to see samples of your creativity, not necessarily you listing credentials and or maybe activities or experiences you've had on the job. I want to see how you performed in your job. So let's create a career portfolio that may show us that. Let's talk about you let's look at cosmetologist. This is what we can actually create, which is an actual web page that the students will now have that is something similar, maybe to LinkedIn, maybe a little bit more expressive than that, because you actually get to put samples of your work here. So the employer has the opportunity to actually see your mind at work. So to look at the portfolio itself, you'll have your name, of course, the degree, the major, your anticipated graduation date, phone number, email, a little bit about you if you wanted to give a little bit, which I encourage all of our students to do. Nothing too personal, just definitely keep it professional and discreet. Any awards that we've had or acquired during our academic tenures, and then most importantly, show me some of your creativity. Show me what's going on in your mind and how you take what's in your mind and use your eye-hand dexterity to create it. Let me see samples. And that's what a career portfolio would look like in College Central Network that a student would create for him or herself. Really like this concept or feature as well. So now let's go back to the dashboard. Appointments. From now on, this is the process that I'd like for you to encourage your students to utilize to make appointments with the Career Center and its staff. Schedule an appointment. This is where you're going to find my appointment scheduler for the Career Center and its staff. It's very similar to Calendly. Trying to think of what it might be similar to that you all may use. But it's very similar, yes, to Calendly. And what will happen, they'll click on make an appointment, Career Center appointment. These are the various reasons they could come to the Career Center, but not only come to the Career Center, they could meet with me virtually. They can also meet with me via email and also by phone. So any preferred method of their choice. So they would go to Career Center, see the various reasons they could stop by to see me, click on schedule an appointment, And I have this link to my Google Calendar. So my availability will be listed as far as the dates and times that I don't have appointments already made. So all they have to do is maybe click on a time. I'm going to come, if at all possible, this afternoon at 5. My appointment format, I want to do in person because I want to stop by after I leave work. Purpose of my appointment, I want to talk about maybe doing a cover letter. Yeah, cover letter. How can we help you? If it's something else you want to add in addition to the cover letter or the explanation for your appointment, then please have students feel free to place that information there. But really, the only thing I need to have them complete is what's starred. And then you click on book it, and they're ready to go. I'll receive an email, I'll respond back, approved, and they'll receive information from that point on the appointment schedule, and also me looking forward to having them visit with me. Events and programs, because for the sake of time, this is anything that may be going on or sponsored by the Career Center or facilitated or being hosted by, as far as events or programs by, again, Career Center staff, maybe along with Workforce Development Division as well. We will post that information here also for students to see. Same thing with announcements, very similar to events and programs. Anything special going on that we need our students to know about, they can go here and see it on College Central Network. Career podcast, they can listen to maybe me present employability skill building information, maybe more so than watch me. For some students, it's not convenient maybe for them to sit down and look at a laptop and or a tablet or maybe even on their personal PCs. No, I'm on the go. Let me just put my pods in my ear and maybe listen to a podcast, very short, maybe 15-minute podcast on some type of employability skill that I want to enhance about myself. Care to Catch the World, and they're going to be very catchy titles. All they have to do is choose something of interest that catches their eye. As far as a career exploration concept is concerned, click on the button Listen, and immediately it'll go ahead and begin the lecture or presentation in their iPods. They can hear it in their ear and still continue to exercise on their treadmill or maybe walk along the beach or continue to travel the trails as they look at the leaves turning in the mountains. Podcast. Very excited to have those available. My job search is information that will be saved as far as when students have searched for work, what type of work they search for, when they search for it, and how they search for it, and even where. This is where we maintain the tracking data. Report hires, of course, when students obtain those gratifying positions that meet their needs. I want them to report back to me about that new hire because I get really excited hearing when students accomplish the career goals and aspirations and pathway that they plan for themselves. Please have your students share with me when that happens. My account, that's going to be for them if they want to change a password, a user ID, something of that nature. They can do it here using that tab. Change my status is something I want them to pay attention to as well, because here is where they can change from student to graduate. And I want them to have the opportunity to do that. For some students, I think that'll be very, very gratifying just to have the opportunity to say, I did this, to get a sense of completion, to get a sense of pride, to lift their self-esteem, to lift their confidence. I want them to change their own status from student to graduate. And then, of course, last but not least, the contact information for me and the Career Center. And here you will have, and they will have, where I'm located, my main phone number, my regular hours, the summer hours, so on and so on. They can call, they can send me an email. whatever it is that they choose to do. And I encourage you to have your students contact the Career Center and its staff. The services that we offer to students here, I think, are very important to preparing them for the professional world of work. Because a student, I feel, is very diverse and it's very complex in who they are. So I want to make sure that we tap into and develop and advance all of those different parts. And that's including the professional side of the student as well. So again, I want to thank everyone for meeting with me today. I want to go and stop sharing now and ask if there are any questions that any of you have for me on this afternoon. Any questions at all? Please feel free to unmute yourself. That'll be fine. Or there you go. Turn on your screen. That'll be fine. Hi, Director Broya.
Hi there, Mary. How's things going?
Going very well.
So my question is, I've been looking into that virtual job shadow product, and I was wondering if the college, if you know, if they are looking at a similar type tool or looking at virtual job shadow. I think it would be something that could be applicable across the college, you know, in different programs. But I was just wondering if, you know, specifically for like the Career Center, if that was something that has ever been discussed or looked at, the virtual job shadow or some similar type platform.
It's a very good question. And thank you so much, Director Brower, for asking that question. I can see definitely that software fitting into the mold of what the Career Center does. I can also see it fitting maybe in the area of work-based learning or experiential learning as well, because that's where you also have your umbrella for internships and things, apprenticeships and things of that nature. So I can definitely see it fitting there as well, because it allows the students and or users, because it may not be just a student who utilizes it. It allows the student also, but I'm going to stick with student, to have the opportunity not only to engage maybe from a face-to-face interactive mode of experiential learning, but like you said, from a systematic virtual electronic mode. So I think for me personally, it's a great tool. I've seen the demo that's been done before, and I see it fitting under that, for me personally, underneath that umbrella of experiential learning, because I can see them maybe connecting more so than the Career Center, because basically the functions of the Career Center are to assist with resume writing, job searching technique, interviewing etiquette, things of that nature. But to have that opportunity for me to virtually connect with someone in the industry that I'm aspiring to go into, definitely would be an experiential learning experience for me. So I can see it kind of fitting there. But it's a great tool, great tool. And I think it would fit, like you said, across the gamut, across the board when it comes to the functions of that software. Because our academic advisors could use it, our success coaches could use it. Definitely anyone who serves students, any support service of students, could find it beneficial. Was that a good answer?
Yes, it is. And if you don't mind me bugging you for one more, with your the podcast and College Central Network, do you have the opportunity, or is it built in where like you or you know, if or for my program area, if we wanted to do a podcast around you know, human resources development, workforce development, that kind of thing, we would be able to load a podcast up in there, of course, with your approval. Is that a functionality of that platform?
Very good. It's that particular software is the answer is no, because it's produced by Career Services Central, who are the patrollers and the makers of the product itself. And they have certain features, of course, that we are contractually paying an annual fee to access. Not an astronomical amount, but there is a fee attached. And it's the software itself, the technology itself, won't allow us, nor will our contract that we have with Career Services Central, to upload our own paraphernalia. We have to use solely what they provided. But I definitely could see that podcast that you're talking about being something that you post on your site, or maybe post on the Career Center site. There are various places in which we could utilize that knowledge, that skill, that information as a resource that we use to attach and get to all of our students. So there are other places definitely we can place it to where everybody across the campus can see it and hear it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Great questions. Great questions. Well, you all, if that's all that you have for today, let me check my chat box. Don't see anything there. Very good. Again, I'd like to thank everyone for attending on today. And please encourage your students, the alumni, members of your community, to utilize the services of the Career Center and its staff across all of our campuses. We would be honored to have the opportunity and welcome the experience of being able to help advance the professional developments of individuals seeking to enter the world of work that exists there today. I hope you all have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.